Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another Bruce Willis classic film review. Today I'm going to take a look at the 1994 erotic thriller Colour of Night. The film is directed by Richard Rush and it stars Bruce Willis, Jane March, Ruben Blades, Leslie Ann Warren, Scott Bakula, Brad Dourif, Lance Henriksen and Kevin J. O'Connor. Great cast, I'm sure you'll agree. Now, the film focuses on Bruce Willis's character, Dr. Bill Capper. He has his own practice, he's a psychiatrist, and at the beginning of the film, one of his patients essentially commits suicide in front of him. This obviously affects him quite badly, to the point where he can no longer see the colour red. So he heads to LA to spend some time with his friend, Dr. Bob Moore, played by Scott Bakula, who is also a psychiatrist. Whilst there, he ends up sitting in on one of his friend's groups that's got a number of neurotics in there. We've got Leslie Ann Warren's character, we've got Brad Dourif's character, Lance Henriksen, Kevin J. O'Connor character, and another young lad called Richie. And Scott Bakula reveals to Bruce Willis that he's been getting threatening messages and he thinks it's somebody in his Monday group that is out to kill him. This comes to light. His friend Scott Bakula, Dr. Bob Moore, is killed, and Bruce Willis reluctantly takes over the group and then essentially works with the local police lieutenant, played by Ruben Blades, to try and figure out who the killer is. At the same time, he also falls madly in love with Rose, a young woman who he happens upon in LA, who just essentially turns up whenever she chooses, and they have mad sex. Right, what are my thoughts on Colour of Night? Now, this is a film. I went to see this at the cinema when it came out, way back when. And this is something I think of a guilty pleasure. Certainly for me, and maybe for many, it's one of those I think that a lot of people regard as a good, bad movie in a lot of ways. Now, when this film came out, it got pretty poor reviews, it got a poor reception, it didn't do well at the box office, even though it did a lot better on home video. It was a big hit on home video. And I can understand that. There's a lot of reasons to ridicule this film. But I also think there is some real merit here as well. If you give the film enough time and actually look for the good within the bad, there's actually underneath this a really quite solid thriller. Now, after the release of Basic Instinct, it was a big hit. The 90s was the decade of serial killer films and erotic thrillers. Like big budget erotic thrillers. They were all over the place. Most of them were terrible. So this was basically them trying to get in on the action with Bruce Willis, who was obviously a huge name, to try and see if they can get a little slice of that pie. Doesn't necessarily work out that way. Because there is, like I said, there's a lot here to pick holes at here in the film. But I'm going to talk about some of the good things first, I think, in this film, because I do think there is, as I've said, some pretty decent stuff going on here. The first one is the cast. Come on, I mean, look at this cast. Obviously, we've got Bruce Willis. We've got Jane March, who might not be a household name then or even now, but she was absolutely stunningly beautiful, and there's no getting around that. Ruben Blades, brilliant. Leslie Ann Warren, Scott Bakula, Brad Dourif, Lance Henriksen, Kevin J. O'Connor. Great character actors, all of them. You know what I mean? And the best thing, some of the best stuff about this film is the group scenes, where they're all in group sharing the problems and having niggling discussions and fights with each other. And it's a joy to see these character actors, you know, really go to town and have fun with their characters. And it's definitely a real strength of the film. Another thing that I don't think gets talked about enough here is I think this is actually a tremendous performance by Jane March. And I really didn't get the twist. The first time I saw this film, I didn't spot it. And I'm going to talk about spoilers. This is an old film, guys. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, then turn off now, I suppose. But the fact that she was richer was a revelation to me when I first saw the film. Even though, and then the revelation that she was actually a part of everybody's life in the group in a certain way, as a lover or a comrade or whatever. You know what I mean? Including Bruce Willis. And the fact that she's obviously had this, she was very, very ill, and she'd been tortured and manipulated by her brother to become richer, her brother who died years ago. I just thought that was a clever thing to do, and it needed a good performance from an actress here, and I thought she did a very, very good job, especially with the Richie character. The Rose character obviously is there for a bit of hot and steamy, erotic scenes with Bruce Willis. The only problem is they aren't hot and steamy. They're ridiculous for the most part. Now, I first saw obviously the cinema version of this, the edited version. I actually watched a review for this. I don't know if you call it the director's cut or the extended version, whatever. So that's the first time I've seen it. So you actually get more sex scenes in that, but they don't add anything. The sex scene in the pool is ridiculous, and I'm not keen on seeing Bruce Willis's Todger flopping about. Thank you very much. So yeah, there's little chemistry, I think, between Bruce Willis and Jane March. No matter how much they try and manipulate that in the film, it just doesn't work. But that doesn't take away from the great performance by Jane March, with Richie especially. I think there are, at the very core, this is a good thriller. It's a good mystery thriller. Who's killing these people? It's a pretty good mystery. Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis. He's got that charisma. He carries the film very, very well, and he does at times give quite a tender performance. Ruben Blades pretty much though steals this film from everybody. He's hilarious, and he's got absolutely fantastic chemistry with Bruce Willis. Their scenes are absolutely one of the highlights of the film when they've got the scenes together. Ruben Blades is just very, very funny, and I really did enjoy his appearance in the film. It actually won the Golden Razzie that year for the worst picture, which, says obviously a lot that it wasn't well regarded when it came out. But like I've said, I do think there is some merit here. I do think it's a guilty pleasure. I've always got a little bit of a nostalgia feel for this film. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for this film. I do think there is good things going on in the film. There is also some really daft, ridiculous things going on in it that are almost laughable at times. But I still enjoy it. It's a good long time since I've seen this film, and rewatching it for this review, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was cheesy, yes. I thought it was daft, yes. But I also enjoyed the mystery of it. I enjoyed the group scenes with Bruce Willis being the psychiatrist with the group, the Ruben Blades scenes. I just thought there was a lot going on here. Some of it absolutely missed the mark, but some of it I think they also nailed. So if you've never seen Colour of Night, you've been put off maybe by its reputation or something, definitely check it out. It is worth watching. It's an interesting addition to Bruce Willis's filmography. So thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.